What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, daily news, everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., money, investing, the stock market, and everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos coming out every day. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. We have some major news here. The House of Representatives passed 2 bills last night, and also President Biden had a major call with Russian President Putin on the Russians possibly invading Ukraine and the U.S. having to possibly step in. Check this out.
The meeting with Putin, I was very straightforward. There were no minced words. It was polite, but I made it very clear. If in fact he invades Ukraine, there will be severe consequences. Severe consequences. Economic consequences like none he's ever seen or ever have been seen in terms of being imposed. He knows his immediate response was he understood that, and I indicated I knew he would respond, but beyond that, if in fact we would probably also be required to reinforce our presence in NATO countries to reassure particularly those in the Eastern Front. In addition to that, I made it clear that we would provide the defensive capability to the Ukrainians as well. The good news is, the positive news is that thus far our teams have been in constant contact. We hope by Friday we're going to be able to say and announce to you that we're having meetings at a higher level, not just with us, but with at least 4 of our major NATO allies and Russia to discuss the future of Russia's concerns relative to NATO writ large and whether or not we can work out any accommodations as it relates to bringing down the temperature along the Eastern Front.
Will you rule out troops on the ground, sir? Putting U.S. troops on the ground?
Yes, in terms of in Ukraine.
So you said Lieutenant Kane, Democrats talking about should U.S. troops be needed on the ground in or around Ukraine to stop an invasion. Will you rule that out, or is that on the table?
That is not on the table. What is not on, they are not. We have a moral obligation and a legal obligation to our NATO allies. If they were to attack under Article 5, it's a sacred obligation. That obligation does not extend to NATO, to Ukraine, but it would depend upon what the rest of the NATO countries were willing to do as well. But the idea the United States is going to unilaterally use force to confront Russia invading Ukraine is not in the cards right now. But what will happen is there will be severe consequences that will have.
So you've known Vladimir Putin for years. Are you confident that he got the message and knows this is different?
I am absolutely confident he got the message.
So, President Biden says that the U.S. is not considering sending troops to Ukraine yet, and that option is not on the table at this moment. But he sent a stern warning to President Putin to not invade Ukraine. They are our ally, and that we would have to have stern consequences and some type of retaliation if that happens. His quote here is from Biden is that I made it very clear, if in fact he invades Ukraine, there will be severe consequences, like none he has ever seen. I am absolutely confident that he got the message. Yeah, so if it's not one thing, it's not another. We also have issues with China right now. We just had in the last few hours, like 48 hours ago, the United States has announced that the U.S. would have a diplomatic boycott in the Winter Olympics in Beijing, China, that would start in February. Britain actually just joined the U.S. in this as well. And China, as you can see here in this headline from CNN, China threatens the U.S. with retaliation over diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics. Yeah. You can see here China has threatened the Biden administration with retaliation over its decision to impose a diplomatic boycott over the 2022 Winter Olympics. This is not for the athletes, but for the diplomats and for the government officials to not show up. Normally, you have the vice president or the president's wife and diplomats show up, and they're going to have a diplomatic boycott at the bare minimum. Warning that the move could harm bilateral retaliations. The Biden administration said Monday it would not send any officials from the United States to the Beijing Winter Games as a statement against China's ongoing genocide and crimes against humanity. U.S. athletes will be allowed to compete in the Games as of now. Responding to the White House announcements, China's foreign ministry said it had launched a solemn representation with the U.S. and vowed to take, quote, resolute countermeasures. Yeah. Quote, out of ideological bias and based on lies and rumors, the U.S. is trying to disrupt the Beijing Winter Olympics. This will only expose its sinister intention and further erode its moral authority and credibility. This comes from the China minister spokesperson Zhao Linjin said at a news conference Tuesday. The Chinese official further said the wrong move of the U.S. has undermined the foundation and atmosphere for China-U.S. sports exchanges and Olympic cooperation. Quote, it has shot itself in the foot. The U.S. should understand the grave consequences of its move. Meanwhile, here is Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer with an update on the stimulus package and the debt limit, which they're still trying to pass both of these. Here's an update on these.
Okay. First, I'm just going to say a brief word on the debt limit. Our concern all along has been doing this through a process that is, we were worried about a process that would be convoluted, lengthy, and risky. And we believe we shouldn't be doing anything that puts our full faith and credit in jeopardy. Our goal has been to increase the debt limit. We want a simple majority without a convoluted, risky, lengthy process. And it looks like the Republicans will help us facilitate that. So we feel very good about where we're headed on debt ceiling. It's not done till it's done. But the idea of letting Democrats carry it ourselves is what we've always said, and that's the direction we are headed in. Okay?
Now, remember that last night the U.S. House of Representatives passed a procedural bill to raise the debt ceiling to allow the Senate to basically carve out a filibuster or a way to bypass the filibuster where they'll need 60 votes at first and then 50 votes or 51 votes or a simple majority, I should say, to bypass the filibuster to raise the debt limit. Okay, this has not happened yet. They passed a procedural vote in the House last night, but they haven't passed the debt limit in its entirety yet. Okay, so they're in the process of this. They're still going to need 60 votes here, from what I understand, because again, this is all kind of a moving in process procedure. Things can change here at any given moment. But there's still a question on whether or not they're actually going to get 60 votes. Because remember, last time around, they had 61 votes. Okay. And from an article that we read yesterday, and this is kind of how we're getting a lot of our information, and directly from Republican senators and stuff, from interviews and stuff like that. 2 out of the 11 Republicans said that they don't think they're going to vote yes. They're going because they're just so turned off from the process last time. And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the Democrats, or the lead Democrats, blasting them and just turning off their whole party and turning off them. Okay. So if that's the case, they would be one vote short. They would only have 59 votes. This is directly what the 2 Republicans said. Okay, so I'm not like being a negative Nancy or anything like that. This is just what those 2 Republicans are saying, those 2 Republican senators. So something has to change here if those 2 Republican senators go with what they have recently said as of yesterday, or else they're only going to have 59 votes. So in today's episode of You Can't Make This Stuff Up, even if Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer say make a deal, or they have a deal, or they want to make a deal, however close or whatever they're going to come up with, they're still going to need 10 Republican votes and all 50 Democrats, including Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer, or Kirsten Sinema. There's actually some talk that Senator Joe Manchin might be opposed to this because it actually goes away with the filibuster for this, what they call a carve out. It's a one-time process to do away with the filibuster. And, Joe Manchin thinks that this filibuster is some sacred rule that's come down from God himself, right? And heaven forbid it needs to be intact because it's come from God himself. When in all reality, the filibuster has been gone and done away with multiple times throughout the years. Mitch McConnell himself got rid of the filibuster for Supreme Court justices. Okay, so the Republicans have actually got rid of the filibuster to appoint Supreme Court justices. They now only need 51 votes, a simple majority. And the filibuster used to be 2/3. It used to be 66 votes. Now it's down to 60. It's just been gotten rid of several different times throughout the years. Okay, and in fact, the filibuster, when it was originally started, was not intended to be the way it is now. It used to just be a talking filibuster where you could only block a vote for as long as you could stand up there and talk. Similar to when Kevin McCarthy, leader of the Republicans in the House, blocked the stimulus package vote, the Build Back Better vote in the House for 8.5 hours and set the record, the Guinness Book of World Records, for the longest speech ever in the House of Representatives. It was like almost 9 hours. Okay, that's a talking filibuster. He blocked the vote for as long as he could by standing up there and literally not leaving. But as soon as you leave, then they're able to proceed. Okay, the filibuster in the Senate used to be that way, but now it's the filibuster's just honestly gotten out of hand. It was never intended to be the way it is now. But let's go back to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. He'll give us some more on the status of the stimulus package here.
Let me go back now to Build Back Better. So, Senate Democrats are focused on passing the Biden Build Back Better bill before Christmas, and I'm joined by Senators Casey and Warnock. Senator Duckworth was supposed to be here, but still at the White House, I believe, but is part of what may get here a little later. Now, no one ever said passing a bill of this magnitude would be easy or would be quick, but getting this across the finish line will be worth all the long days and late nights for one simple reason, and that is, at its core, Build Back Better is the most significant step Congress has taken in decades to help American families lower costs, cut taxes for working and middle-class Americans, and invest in good-paying jobs while fighting the climate crisis. It's that simple. Build Back Better will make it cheaper for parents to raise their kids by providing the largest investment in child care in American history. It'll help our economy. Wherever you go, you hear about shortages of labor. One of the main reasons is inadequate child care. By expanding child care, we're going to help parents get back to work and expand the labor force in a very significant way. For the first time ever, America will get pre-K. That could save parents up to $8,600 a year per child. And Build Back Better will also extend the child tax credit that Democrats passed under the American Rescue Plan. This simple lifeline, $300 check in the mail for each child each month, has been a game changer to cut poverty in half. Build Back Better will also help the most at-risk Americans have some stability by providing the largest investment in public housing ever, and it'll save Americans even more money by making prescription drugs like insulin, which has skyrocketed in cost, cheaper. Build Back Better takes the long overdue steps to fight the climate crisis, which costs our country tens of billions of dollars each year. And we're going to put millions of people to work in good-paying jobs to help fight that crisis. with an emphasis on poorer people and people of color who will get job training and uplift our whole economy that way. We're going to continue working to get things done before the Christmas holiday. And one more point on this week. As we continue to learn more about the Omicron variant, it's an important moment for the federal government and national leaders to double and triple down on encouraging all eligible Americans to get vaccinated and boosted as soon as possible. This week, Republicans want to take us in the opposite direction with an anti-science, anti-vaccine vote that not only divides our country, but hurts our ability to fight COVID. If their plans go into effect, COVID will linger longer, and the chance of new variants and new, more dangerous variants occurring increases. It is anti-science. It is anti-common sense. It makes no sense. The Congressional Review Act resolution the Republicans are pushing would overturn the rule requiring businesses of more than 100 workers to require vaccinations. Overturning this common sense rule, which is for the good of America's health, is ridiculous, makes no sense, and Democrats believe it is the wrong way to go because the science is clear. Well-designed vaccine requirements are effective in decreasing deaths, decreasing infections, decreasing variants, and keeping Americans safe. We do not want to go back to the days where people didn't believe in science, such as when they thought the Earth was the center of the universe. We just can't go back that way, and that's why we think this CRA is a very bad thing to do.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on here. The Senate is going to be voting on the NDAA, which was now passed in the House to fund our military. They have to do that to literally fund the military. Remember, that failed in the Senate just a few days ago. So we'll have to see what happens. They think that's going to pass now. They have this carve out for to bypass the filibuster, which they think they can get enough votes on. But the question is, are these two Republicans going to vote on it? There's also questions on whether Joe Manchin is going to vote on it as well, because he holds the filibuster sacred. I'll give you more information on that in the next video as well. And they need to do this to literally prevent the government from defaulting. As well as the stimulus package that they're working on as well and trying to get that done before Christmas. So there's a lot going on here. So stay tuned. I'll keep you up to date with everything. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's literally free to do so and makes it so you won't miss out on new videos. After subscribing, click the bell icon to get reminder notifications when we go live with new videos, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also click the share button down below to share these videos with your friends and family. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And this video is a brand new video about Social Security raises to raise Social Security benefits by several $100s per month, coming out here probably in the near future. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.